Hello everyone, I hope you all are doing good. My name is Lalit Soni and I welcome you on this live session by Drishti IAS. So as usual, we'll be starting with the newspaper since it's our weekend. So we have taken few of the lecture from your, or you can say few of the articles from your weekend, and then we'll proceed to today's newspaper. Okay. So let's start. So yesterday there was a comment that where is today's newspaper on Saturday. So basically of Saturday and Sunday's newspaper we are covering on the Monday. Okay, so now we will be taking few articles from weekend and then we'll proceed to today's newspaper, wherein we will be discussing three important articles in this session. That is the PM at COP28. There is this climate conference going on in Dubai, and Prime Minister has given a speech over there, and the statements he has given there. We will be talking about that. And then green credit initiative. In his statements he has mentioned this particular initiative of India. He has mentioned other schemes as well, or other the projects which we are taking up to fight climate change and mitigation, etc. But he has mentioned this particular initiative, okay, green credit initiative. So we'll be talking about that, what is it, and how it is different from the carbon markets. Okay. And then all India judicial services. So we'll be talking about that because our president has supported this idea. She has said that we should be going for this particular services now. Okay. And now we'll be talking about few world affairs. That that Israel has done with the 6 days of truce, and now they are back to the war situation. And after that we'll be looking at practice questions, and then we'll wrap up the session. Okay. So we'll have a lot on agenda today. So let's start with the first article. Okay. We do not have too much time to correct mistakes from the previous century. Okay, basically here Prime Minister is saying that in the previous century, let's say when we are talking about all those initiatives which has been taken under the industrialization, okay, because of which carbon emission has grown much faster. When we are talking about carbon emission, developed countries has contributed way more than the developing countries, but now the effects are faced by these developing countries. There are many small islands which are on the verge of being extinct. Okay. So that is what he has said, that now we don't have too much time to correct the mistakes. Now we have to be ambitious in our goals to mitigate for the climate change. Okay. PM pitches India as the host for 2028. He has also proposed that we might host this COP 20, in the 2028. That would be your COP 35. Okay. So he has proposed this idea, and then he said that countries to rise above their self interest. Okay. When we are talking about hosting this particular summit, so we will be hosting it COP 33. Sorry, this would be COP 33. Okay. Then when we are talking about this particular COPs, we have hosted COP 8 back in 2002. At that particular point of time, this summit was not a big short summit. Okay. So we have hosted it in earlier, and now we have proposed that in 2028 after we will be hosting COP 33 again. Okay. So that is just a proposal as of now. Okay. Other than that, he has also mentioned that India was among the very few large economies which are on the track of fulfilling their climate commitments. Okay. So you must have heard of this term NDCs, nationally determined contributions. So basically every country at this COP summit has given some kind of commitments that we will be doing this in regard to the climate change. Okay. Or the initiative for mitigation of the climate change or adaptation level. Okay. So all these NDCs, when we are talking about, India is doing good on that front. Okay. And we are on the track when we are talking about fulfilling our climate commitments. Okay. Then he has said that we don't have much time to correct the mistakes of the previous century. If we think only about our own interest, it will push the planet toward the darkness. So now countries, or you can say mostly when we are talking about this particular thing, developed countries should go beyond their own interest and think about the mutual interest of the world. Okay. So now when we are talking about this climate change, they should provide for the finance, technology, etc., because they are the one who were responsible for the bigger part of this problem. Okay. After industrial revolution in England, these are the developing countries like England, USA, etc. They were the one who kind of benefited from this particular thing and contributed to carbon emission to a huge level. But now the suffering is falls upon the developing countries. Okay. So they have this particular obligation to pay for the climate actions. Okay. We also have to be ambitious in our targets. Since we don't have much time, we have to be ambitious so that we can achieve our target of 1.5 degrees Celsius temperature change. Okay. And then when we are talking about this India's initiative, he has mentioned few initiatives. Let's see here: International Solar Alliance, Coalition of Disaster Resilient Infrastructure. This is related to your disaster management. This is related to renewable energy. Okay, this is started in its headquarters is in Gurgaon, or you can say Gurugram, and it started with the India and France's initiative, and then many tropical countries has joined into it. Then Green Credit Initiatives. About this we will be talking about in the further slides. And then Lifestyle for Environment campaign and climate related decision has taken at G20. Those decisions were renewable energy tripling. Okay, so India has committed to tripling the renewable energy targets, okay, in this G20 summit. After that, Global Biofuels Alliance under India's presidency in G20. Okay, these are the steps which has been taken by India. India is committed to work upon them. Okay, and they are doing quite well in this area. Other than that, climate goals, global south need finance and tech. As I told you that the much benefit of this particular emissions, or let's say the benefits of the industrial revolution which has caused these emissions, greenhouse gases, etc., and which has brought us this havoc of climate change. Okay, no doubt climate change is a natural phenomena, it will happen, but this particular activities, these anthropogenic activities which we have been doing for past centuries, this has speed up the process. Okay. So now the Prime Minister has said that the onus is the much obligation, or the onus is more on the developed countries. So now these developed countries has to provide finance and technology to the global south. When we are talking about this global south, it is not a geographical term, it is a political term used for the developing countries in the recent scenario. Okay. So India is kind of a leader of this particular global south world, and India has been talking about their rights and their inclusive development, etc. So that is why here in this summit also they have said that for the global south, developed world should provide for the finance and the technology here. Okay. Global south is relatively new formal formulation to refer to the developing countries. As I told you, this is a new formulation, or this is a formal formulation for developing countries. Okay. Everyone knows that the countries of the global south, including India, have contributed very little in causing climate change, yet the adverse impact of the climate change affect them the most. Okay. Despite the lack of adequate resources, these countries have committed themselves to take climate action. Okay. This is true, and India is doing great on this particular front. Okay. Global south need climate finance and technology. It is the expectation of the global south that the developed world help them in the fight against climate change. So basically we are expecting that developed world will contribute in the finance and the transfer of technology. Okay. When we are talking about 2030 climate actions require trillions of dollars in the climate finance. Okay. Recently there was this fund related to disaster management, or you can say all those countries which has been facing disaster, that is, the fund is basically called loss and damage fund. So basically nearly $475 million has been pledged to this particular fund, but we need a fund of $1 trillion. Okay. So this is very small amount with respect to the fund we actually need. So the developed world has to come forward and contribute more in that. Now a small group of human society has indulged in the indiscriminate exploration of the natural resources. This is talking about the developed world during the industrial revolution, and the penalty is being paid by the entire human race, but most acutely by the people in the global south. You must have heard that there are many islands which are on the verge of extinction because of the sea level rising. Okay. Let's say when we are talking about Maldives is also facing such threat. The capital of Indonesia, they have to shift the capital because of this particular reason. Okay. So all these things are causing a concern for us. Then green credit initiative to take positive action, we will be discussing it in the further slides. Here whatever we have discussed, it is given here in the COP28 summit. The focus is on the global south and call for the more climate finance, technology and the carbon space, highlighted the disproportionate impact of the climate change on the developing countries than the with respect to their minuscule contribution in the issue. Okay. After that, he has talked about that what are the key points, that how developed world has contributed, not enough. Emphasize the need of the climate finance, we have talked about it. Stress the necessity of the developed nations to assist, we have talked about it. Urge the substantial climate finance and the accessibility and affordability. I have introduced this slide in this particular PPT, because if you can take a screenshot and you can reproduce this particular technical terms in your answer writing. Okay. Now moving further, what is the statement made? We have read it from the newspaper, so you don't have to go into details of it. Now, green credit initiative to take positive actions. Okay. When we are talking about this carbon emissions, there is this carbon market, wherein if you are doing anything to reduce the carbon emission by the industry of let's say a person is there, a capitalist, or you can say industrialist is there, who is trying to do something about reduction in the greenhouse gas emission. Okay. So in that case, he will be given some carbon credit. Okay. He can sell it in the carbon market. We will discuss about that particular mechanism. But on the same lines, that carbon market is for the industries only. On the same lines, now they have introduced it for the individual level as well. Okay, for the individual or the small businessman, etc. So let's see. India's Environment Ministry has created this particular initiative in October. It aims to establish the market-based incentive for the various environment positive action. Any action which is related to any kind of positive impact on the environment. Let's say if someone is introducing solar panels on their houses, or let's say in a industrial area of their or let's say in a field, in that case he will be getting a credit. Okay, that is green credit, and not limited to the carbon reduction. Okay, so carbon reduction basically is for the, you can say, industry, wherein GHG or greenhouse gases related emissions are provided some kind of credit. But in this case, any action which is to have a positive impact on the environment, which will be taken for this particular thing, that is green carbon credit initiatives. Focus on the actions like water conservation, soil improvement, forest development, all these things. Let's say if someone is going for the agroforestry, etc., or you can say water conservation, etc. So for all these things, green credit will be given. Whereas in the carbon market, only for the carbon reduction it was given. Okay. Now, standards and the methodologies for measuring and verifying these actions are under development. It is since it's a recent event, or you can say recent initiative, so method and mechanism is under development. Different from the commercial nature of the carbon credits. I will tell you what is carbon credits and all, how it will work. Okay. Initially envisaged for the private companies, okay, to purchase green credit as part of their CSR, that is corporate social responsibility. It is an initiative wherein this industry, etc., or market, etc., they will be giving back to the society. Okay, they will fulfill their obligation to the society because they are earning from the society. Okay, so anything which is for the social development, or any thing which is kind of improving the social life, such contribution would be corporate social responsibility. Okay. Unlike carbon credits primarily involving industries and corporations, the green credit programs can benefit individuals and the communities. Okay, as I told you, this is for the individuals and the communities. When we are talking about carbon credit, that was for the industries and the corporations. Okay, seeks to replicate the mechanism of carbon credit trading for the various environmental action. Okay, so this is on the lines of carbon credit only, whereas the carbon credit was only for the carbon emission. This would be for any kind of environmental action. Okay, PM Modi proposes the idea for creating the international market for green credits. Since he has mentioned this particular thing in the COP28, he has said that such initiative can be taken at the global level. Okay, and then we can create a green credit market over there. Okay, so that is about this article, and let's see the working of this particular carbon market. Okay, here let's say there are two industries. Okay, emitter A, emitter B. Okay, now this is the permissible limit of your greenhouse gas emission. This is the amount of gas you can emit. Okay, but let's say this particular emitter has only produced this much. Okay, this is the credit, or he has done this much good to avoid this GHG emission. So this surplus which he has created here, that can be sold to the carbon market. Okay, Now he can get anything return, let's say money or some kind of incentive in this return. But when it's sell this particular offset to the carbon market can sell it to another purchaser who has excess use the emission excessively. Let's say this was the limit and he has emitted this much. So this much amount he has emitted in excess. Okay. So for that he will be purchasing this particular credit offset, or you can carbon offset from carbon market. Okay. So this emitter will be incentivized in for their reduction in the emission, and this particular emitter will be getting or has to pay extra for this particular emission. So that is the working of carbon markets. Okay. So that is only for the carbon emissions. Okay. So when we are talking about the green initiative or the green credit, in this particular case that can be replaced by environmental activities. Okay. So here you can see that any kind of environmental activity, let's say rooftop solar systems, electric vehicles, okay, energy efficient improvements, these are just for an example, since the overall mechanism is under development. This I have taken from internet just to show you that like these are the initiative which can be incentivized for an individual to perform this. Okay. So individual will be getting green credits for that, and these green credits can be sold. Okay. So that is the idea behind green credits. It is on the lines of carbon market. Okay. So moving further, then in the same line there was 110 countries pledged to triple renewable energy capacity by 2030. Hold on a second. So in this particular initiative, in the COP28 itself, 110 countries has come forward and they pledged that they will be doing this renewable energy tripling for the climate change related initiatives by 2030. India did not pledge here because India has done it already in the G20. Okay. Other than that, Russia and China, they did not pledged in G20 as well. Okay. So now let's see, once 116 countries has signed, or you can say agreed for to pledge to triple global installed capacity of renewable energy by 2030. Okay. So it is, he is talking about installed capacity. Okay. Crucial to keep the rise in global temperature within the 1.5 degrees Celsius from the pre-industrial level. So ultimately we know that temperature of the world is rising, temperature of the globe is rising, that is giving that is because of the global warming. So ultimately now we have to do something about it. So the major factor behind this particular rise in temperature is, you can say, fossil fuel. That fossil fuel basically emit greenhouse gases. So this carbon emission ultimately go give ways to you can say global warming. Okay. So now our objective is to keep it in check by change in temperature by 1.5 degrees Celsius from the pre-industrial era. Okay. Before the industrial revolution, whatever was the temperature, and when we are talking about today's day, we have to keep in check that change in the temperature should not go beyond 1.5 degrees Celsius, and for that we have to go for reduction in the greenhouse gases, carbon emissions, and that can basically cause reduction in the global warming. And major cause for this greenhouse gases emission or the carbon emission is your fossil fuel consumption, and that is why we are going toward the renewable energy. Okay. So that is why over 116 countries, or you can say 116 countries has pledged for the tripling of the renewable energy. Okay. India was not among the countries that signed the pledge, but it is on the board, having already agreed to it in G20 summit. India's own renewable energy expansion plan involved a tripling of capacity by 2030. Our goal is already, we are moving, ahead of this particular initiative, because we have accepted this goal for us long back. Okay. Or you can say we have committed in the G20. Okay. So we have to triple it, our renewable energy triple by 2030. Okay. And then India has set a target to reach energy capacity of 500 gigawatts by 2030. This data would be important for your exam, because such things can be asked directly, because it is a target set by India for itself. Other than that, second thing is that you can use such data in your mains answer writings. Okay, if you start with such data, if you start with such convincing data that you have a proof of, okay, so that will award you some extra marks. Okay, India has set a target of reaching 500 gigawatts of renewable energy capacity by 2030. At present, it has a capacity of around 180 gigawatts. So you can say that we are trying to triple it. Okay, this power generation from non-fossil fuel. Okay, China and Russia, who too are part of G20, did not sign the pledge. Okay, United States pledged US dollars 3 billion US dollars to the Green Climate Fund. So there is this Green Climate Fund, you have to remember. For the climate financing, there is this Green Climate Fund. Okay, so USA has committed 3 billion US dollars in this fund. Okay, other than that, when we are talking about the loss and damage fund, India has not committed any amount in this fund. Okay, being a developing country. Second thing is USA has given 17.5 US dollars in this particular fund. Okay, that is a small amount, that is $1 million. Okay, and that is 3 billion. So that is a minuscule amount on the part of USA in this particular fund. Okay, so that is about this particular article. Okay, so moving forward, there was this article related to the 2023 being the warmest year. That is possible that 2023 will be the warmest year since 1901. Okay, the reason behind that would be we are experiencing a warmer winters this time. Okay, when we compare to the earlier data, etc., we say that we are experiencing warmer winters, and the reason for this warmer winters mostly is El Nino. Okay, and other than that, there are other factors. You know that in El Nino, the sea surface temperature of the Pacific Ocean will be rising. Okay, because of which there will be less rains, or you can say less rain related to monsoon in India when we are talking about. Okay, so you can say it is kind of attached with the dry spell. Okay, we will be facing a impact on the monsoon that will cause some kind of dryness or some kind of reduction in the rainfall. Okay, so that is one thing about El Nino. Second thing is the other reasons when we are talking about, you can look at here, like you can see El Nino, warmer than usual sea surface temperature in Pacific, that is one thing. Then cyclone in Bay of Bengal. So recently there is one cyclone which is to be hitting the coast of Andhra Pradesh, Odisha, etc. The cyclone name is Maichuang. Okay, or however you want to pronounce it. This Maichuang cyclone is to hit the eastern coast of Indian Peninsula, and will be hitting Andhra Pradesh, Tamil Nadu and Odisha area. Okay, so such cyclones in Bay of Bengal are also reason behind this particular little warmer winters. Okay, you will be thinking like, if cyclone is there, if there is a rainfall, that how it will be a warmer winter. Okay, so I'll explain that phenomena. After that, that is the western disturbances. This is an exceptional phenomena wherein we get kind of rainfall in the winter region as well, or you can say from November to January we will be facing some kind of rainfall. In local language they are called Mahavat. Okay, so these western disturbances are the reason behind that. Okay, all these things, why? Because when we are talking about these cyclones and the western disturbances, this will lead to cloud formation. Okay, and when there are cloud formation, which will kind of increase the temperature. Okay, when we are talking about the near earth temperature, it will increase the near earth temperature, which will kind of increase the warming. Okay, that is why we are facing these warmer winters this time. Okay, so let's see how it happens. Most of the time you have heard that there is insolation coming from the solar, there are solar radiations or from the sun. We will be receiving this insolations or the radiation from the suns. Okay, and then these particular cloud, they act as a reflecting body, or you can say they have this albedo effect. Okay, they reflect the solar radiations. Okay, that is the one thing. Okay, all the radiations which have crossed this particular area and reached to the earth, and in the night they are supposed to, when earth radiates heat, they are supposed to go back into the environment and maybe crossing the atmosphere. But when there is a cap of this cloud, okay, so that is not possible. Those heat radiations which has been radiated by the earth towards the atmosphere, that will not cross this particular cap, okay, because of which the near earth surface, near earth temperature of the region will rise, okay. So when we are talking about this particular reflection or the albedo effect, that is relatively lesser than this particular amount of the heat which is generated by the earth, and that is to be transferred in the environment in the night, okay. But now because of the average effect if we see, or the net effect if we see, because of this particular phenomena, when there is a cloud, the earth which radiates the heat radiations in the night, that will not cross this particular cap, and they will stay inside the near earth surface, okay. That is because of which the temperature of that particular area will increase, okay. So ultimately that will increase the temperature and we will face the warmer winters, okay. Since this western disturbances and the cyclone in the Bay of Bengal will kind of increase the cloud formation activities in India, and that is why we will face this particular phenomena, and temperature near earth surface will rise and we will be facing this warmer winter this time, okay. So that is the reason behind the warmer winters we will be facing this time, okay. Now US sanction on the Venezuela is India set to import oil from the after 3 years, okay. USA has gone for sanctions on Venezuela when there was this domestic issues going on there, and there was human right violation over there, corruption related issues were there, and considering that USA said that we will be putting some kind of sanctions on Venezuela, and because of which we stopped importing oil from Venezuela, okay. So Venezuela has the largest, you can say, reserve in this particular area. When we are talking about OPEC countries, it is member of OPEC country and has the largest reserves in the world, okay. So after 3 years we will be importing oil from this particular country because they will be providing some kind of discounts, okay. So that is about this article. Venezuela was India's 5th largest oil supplier in 2019, because after that we stopped importing from this particular country because of the US sanctions, and now we will be starting to import again because of the discount. India is saying that we will be purchasing, it will buy whatever wherever there are discounts, okay. So that is a news. And now today's newspaper, when we are talking about, there is not much in today's newspaper considering the elections decision which has been in the public domain yesterday, because of which most of the article in today's newspaper are political, which is not important for us. When we are talking about the results, out of 4 states where result has been announced, 3 states have majority in BJP, okay. So BJP will be ruling these 3 states for the next 5 years, okay. Other than that, there is nothing on the front page. You can see here for BJP it's a win-win-win, okay. After that there is this only 9 of the Gallot's 26 minister win BJP, and so all these things are political news which we don't have to worry about. Now what is All India Judicial Service, why it has failed to become a reality? During her inaugural address at Supreme Court Constitution Day celebration, President Draupadi Murmu called for All India Judicial Service to recruit judges. She said that it will help make judiciary diverse by increasing the representation of the marginalized section in this particular service, okay. So now, as of now, what is the way how these judges are selected in the subordinate judiciary? When we are talking about this All India Service, it is about subordinate judiciary, because you know that for judges of High Court and Supreme Court, we have this collegium system. Regarding collegium system, you must have heard that National Judicial Appointment Committee, or that was supposed to come, there was this amendment in the constitution which was made, but Supreme Court has said that that is against the independence of the judiciary, and that is why it has been held unconstitutional. So this idea was not made reality. So ultimately, as of now, when we are talking about appointment and the transfer in the higher judiciary, that is a responsibility of the collegium system, okay. So that is about the higher judiciary. When we are talking about the subordinate judiciary, most of the time what happens is the state PCS, they kind of conduct examinations, okay, and after the exam they will conduct interview. This interview will be taken by the high courts, okay. In the constitution it is said that High Court will be seeing or supervising the subordinate judiciary, and that is why High Court of that particular state will be taking the interviews of those candidates, and that interviews will result into the appointment. Okay. So now here, what is this All India Judicial Service? Like IAS, IPS we have, IFS we have. So they are now saying that there should be a All India Judicial Service as well. Okay, wherein a body like UPSC will conduct an exam, and then there will be an interview by the High Court. They are suggesting that interviews has to be taken by the High Court because that is the constitutional power which has been given to the High Courts. Okay, so as of now, Article 312, that is 312 of the Constitution provides for the establishment of the All India Judicial Services along with the lines of the central services. Okay, Article 312 is the article which provides for the creation of central services or the All India services. Okay, so that is one thing. Article 312 clause 2 states that the All India Judicial Service cannot include any post inferior to the judge of, let's say, a district judge. Okay, so basically when we are talking about ADJ, additional district judges, and for district judges this particular exam would be conducted. Okay, essentially All India Judicial Service seeks to centralize the recruitment of the judges at the level of additional district judge and the district judge of the all state. Okay, that is about the service. Okay, under Article 312, that article is important for your exam point of view as well. Okay, and now what is the current selection system, which I told you already. Article 233 and 234 of the Constitution deal with the appointment of the district judges and place it under the dominance of the states, and the selection process is conducted by the state public service commissions, and the concerned High Court will take the interview. Okay, so that is about the current selection system. Okay, now why has this particular service has been proposed? So for various occasions, Law Commission has supported this particular idea. So you can mention that Law Commission report 1958 report has said this particular idea should be followed, and then 1978 report of Law Commission says the same thing. Parliamentary State Standing Committee of 2006 also says the same thing. All these things because of the structural reforms in this particular you can say subordinate judiciary, because there is a pendency of cases and there is some kind of structural reform should be there. There is a issue of representation. All these things, considering all these things, this particular Law Commission and the Standing Committee of the Parliament has said that we should go for this particular idea. Okay, but and then what Supreme Court has said in 1992, Supreme Court in All India Judge Association versus Union of India directed center to set up an All India Judicial Service. That they have done that. After that, they have said that it is a area of center to decide on their own. Okay. Then in 2017, Supreme Court suo moto cognizance of the issue of appointment of the district judge and mooted the central selection mechanism. Okay, again they have said that they have to go for the central selection mechanism. As of now, we are following a state selection method. Okay. Then recommended conducting a common examination instead of the separate state exams. Okay, based on the merit list, High Court would then interview and appoint the judges. It would not change the constitutional framework or take away the power of the High Court. That is the stand of Supreme Court. They have said that yes, you should go for. Now Law Commission has recommended that, Parliamentary Standing Committee in 2006 has recommended that, and then Supreme Court is saying the same thing, and Law Commission is saying the same thing. So why is that we had not implemented it yet? Because there is no consensus on the proposal right now. So in the Parliament there is no consensus, and that is why we have not gone forward with this idea. Okay, considering the problems in the judiciary like pendency, and there are very much you can say technicalities in the judicial letter. Okay, all these things basically you can say hinders the justice delivery system. Okay, so that is one good proposal to go for All India Judicial Services. Okay, so let's see what happens in the future, but as of now it is not been implemented yet. Then for your history, or you can say GS1 art and culture related thing, you must have seen that in the last 1 or 2 weeks we have talked a lot of architectural monuments that is situated in the Mehrauli region. Mehrauli region is in Delhi, and Archaeological Survey of India, or you can say the current government is trying to revive all those old monuments. Okay, so that is why they has been in the news. So for your art and culture related sections, this Mehroli area is quite important. You have to go and surf on the internet about this particular area, and what all the structure which are present in this area can be important for your examination point of view. When you are talking about this particular article, there is this particular, you can say, tank in this particular region that is named as Hauz-e-Shamshi, Hauz-e-Shamshi, or you can say Shamshi tank, okay. So, or Shamshi Talab. So, this particular area, there is this a tank or a talab in this region which has been made by Iltutmish, okay. So, ultimately there are some kind of legend behind it that Iltutmish has seen some dream wherein Prophet has asked him to create this talab, okay. But considering today's you can say scenario, this is not in very good condition, okay. Almost half of this particular talab which it was earlier has been some kind of silting is there, and that has gone, and some kind of encroachment is there in this particular area, okay. So, that is why this particular thing becomes important. Ministry of Jal Shakti has organized Jal Itihas Utsav here to raise public consciousness about safeguarding the water heritage sites, okay. And now government is going or making some effort to restore and conserve this particular site, okay. That is why we have taken this thing from our newspaper, okay. So, here you can see the picture Hauz-e-Shamshi in earlier days. Earlier this particular area used to be in the center of the talab, and now it is on the lines of the or around the bank, and now you can see this area has been some kind of grass or lichens etc. are prevailing over there, okay. So, let us see the specifics. Historical significance: it is built during the Sultan Iltutmish reign in 13th century in Delhi. A significant water reservoir spanning around 100 hectare initially, okay. So, that was the extent of this particular talab initially, and now this has reduced to some smaller area. Now, degradation over time, and now it is a small polluted water body. Efforts are made by the Archaeological Survey of India aims to restore the and preserve it along with the nearby monuments, okay. As I told you, this monuments in the Mehroli region are quite important for you now. So, legendary origin: Sultan Iltutmish's vision to construct the reservoir was guided by a dream wherein Prophet Muhammad directed him to build it at a spot marked by the hoof of his winged horse, that is Burak, okay. So, that is the legend, okay. But this is true that Sultan Iltutmish has created this particular talab. In the writings of Ibn Battuta, he is the noted foreign traveler, okay, described the Hauz-e-Shamshi as a vast rectangular reservoir, okay. Subsequent renovation has been taken by the Sultan Alauddin Khilji and Firoz Shah Tughlaq. So, there are three sultans of Delhi Sultanate has some kind of link to this particular monument, that is Sultan Iltutmish who has built it, and then renovation has been done by the Alauddin Khilji and the Firoz Shah Tughlaq, okay. So, moving further, here you can see this particular thing is your Hauz-e-Shamshi, and then recently we might have discussed this Hijron ka Khanka, okay. There are many graves of this unique community over there, okay. So, that is Hijron ka Khanka. This is also in the Mehroli area. Then there is this Jahaz Mahal. This particular image of is the Jahaz Mahal. So, these are three important monuments from this particular site: Hijron ka Khanka, Jahaz Mahal, and Hauz-e-Shamshi. And from newspaper, this particular element has been discussed, Hauz-e-Shamshi has been discussed. So, that becomes even more important for you, okay. This Hijron ka Khanka belongs to the Lodi era, okay. So, that particular information will be important for your GS1 history or art and culture related portion, okay. So, 10 district on the red alert as cyclone Maishuang hits the Andhra coast tomorrow. We have discussed this, but now you can see it has originated in the southwest of the Indian Bay of Bengal, okay. And now this is moving along the eastern coast of India. It has hit somewhere near Tamil Nadu and Andhra Pradesh and hitting the Odisha as well. Some kind of impact can be felt in Telangana and the nearby area Chhattisgarh etc. Okay. So, that is about it. Other than that, if we are talking about the other cyclone in Bay of Bengal in last 1 or 2 years, there are Maishuang 2023, Asani in 2022, and then Gulab in 2021. Okay. So, that is about this small article. I just have to tell you about it. Okay, when we are talking about this world affairs, there is not much. As I told you, Israel has strike again on the refugee camp. The same warlike activities are going on. That truce period of 6 days is over now. Okay, now Gaza civilians, Israel's moral responsibility, said Kamala Harris. Kamala Harris, you must know that she is a politician from USA and vice president over there, and then she has said that these Gaza civilians which are at the risk of this particular war, like this war going on in the Gaza area. So she is saying that this particular, the safety of Gaza civilians is the responsibility of Israel as per the humanitarian international law. Okay, so we have discussed it again and again. Let's see for till what time this particular thing lasts. And then there is India agrees to pull out soldiers from the Maldives, say Moizu. So Moizu is the president of Maldives, and now in his election campaign, they have gone for the India out campaign. He has said that he will remove all the military presence of India from this particular island. Okay, so we don't have the military present over there for per se, but there are some kind of helicopter and the aircraft which are placed in Maldives, and which are basically given to Maldives by India, and there are some 77 Indian military personnel there to operate those particular aircrafts. Okay, so they are saying that remove them as well. Okay, and how they will operate those particular aircrafts, that is to be the panel should be there to decide that, but as of now they are saying that remove these particular military personnel from Maldives. Okay, we also agreed to set up a high level committee to solve the issues related to development projects. Okay, so there are some development projects. This particular person, Mr. Moizu, he has some kind of inclination towards China. That is not confirmed, but we are saying it from the past experience when he was a minister in the earlier reign, which was quite close to you can say China at that particular point of time. Okay, and a day after he was sworn in as president of Maldives, he has formally requested Indian government to withdraw military personnel from this particular small island nation. Okay. Other than that, when we are talking about Maldives, it is on the risk of extinction because of sea level rising, not immediately, but at the future he might need help from India, because we have this you can say agreement also to give some kind of refuge to people from this particular country. When we are looking at the location of this particular small island country, that is Malé or Maldives, this the capital is Malé, and it is on the western side of Indian coastline. Okay, so economy of this particular country is based on tourism. Okay, and mostly tourists are from India and China region. Okay, so that is about this particular article. And then we'll have a look at the practice question which was given to you in the last class, that is in the context of commitment made at COP28 in Dubai, the operationalization of loss and damage fund for developing countries highlights. Okay, options are A, immediate financial compensation to the countries affected by the climate related disasters, that is immediate financial compensation, that is not incorrect. Fund solely dedicated to mitigation carbon emission, so this is also not correct, this is not related to carbon emissions. And then contribution by the developing countries to the contribute financially to the global climate change initiative, not by the developing countries, it is by the developed countries. Okay, a fund for addressing the financial needs of the vulnerable nations dealing with the aftermath of the climate disasters, so that is in the aftermath of climate disaster. So option D would be your right answer. We have discussed it in the last lecture. Okay, so that is about the previous question, and for today's session the question would be, which of the following aims to create a market based incentives in the environmental positive actions. Okay, we have discussed it. A, green credit program, B, carbon neutral fund, C, climate action initiatives, sustainable development scheme. So you have to attempt this question and answer in the comment box. Okay, for the mains we will be taking this one question. Describe the potential benefit and implications of the instituting All India Judicial Service in India's judiciary. How might the establishment of this service enhance the efficiency and diversity of the judicial system? So basically they are saying that discuss the potential benefit and the implication of the introducing this particular service. First you have to kind of go for let's say problems which You can go with an introduction like how president has mentioned it, or the law commission of India has recommended it, or the standing committee has recommended it. That will give you some kind of authenticity to your answer. So you can introduce by that. Okay, and then you can go with the problems in the judiciary. And when we are talking about judiciary here, we are talking about subordinate judiciary. Okay, and then you can go for the benefit of this system, how it will benefit. Okay, and now you can conclude by some kind of remark wherein you can talk about the, or you can give one paragraph on the efficiency because of this particular setup, and then you can conclude the argument with some good example, or you can say any kind of quote or something. Okay, or you can go for a simple access to justice etc related terminology. Okay, so that is about your mains related questions. So I'll wrap up the session here. I'll see you in the next episode. Till then, have a good day. Thank you.